This is Killer Innovations, a show about ideas, creativity, and how you can innovate. Welcome to the Innovator's Garage, where you learn to create your next game-changing killer innovation.
It's really astounding how many people I meet who tell me, I'm not creative, or I wasn't born as an innovator. How many times have you told yourself this story? No matter how convinced you may be that you are not creative, whether you were not meant to change the world, I believe that everyone is a born innovator, and that includes you. The simple fact that you have grown up and learned how to be an adult in this world means you have already gone through the process of continual innovation, and creating something totally new is often a matter of recapturing that mindset. Learning to innovate is not about acquiring a new skill. In fact, it's relearning the skills you've had since birth. Observe small children. They are constantly innovating. Give them a carrot and it's a spaceship, a fish, a microphone, a crayon. It's 100 things because a child's mind is unconditioned by rigid definitions such as, this is a carrot and only a carrot. Working with children reveals the depths of their capacity for innovation and spontaneous creativity. The mind of a child is a realm of endless possibilities, no matter what the task at hand. And whether or not you remember, you too once viewed the world with the eyes of a child. Innovating is natural, but nobody said it was easy. Some children are easily discouraged, while others are not bothered by failure. Every time we correct a child for coloring outside the lines, or we tell a child, stop asking so many questions, or we tell them, that's a stupid question, we are squashing their natural capacity for innovation. Every time management overrides someone for not having an answer on the spot, every time an employer overlooks a candidate because she hesitated, our self-perception as uncreative people who are unable to innovate is reinforced. How many of our innovation ideas never took off? Or how many approaches were shot down by our boss? What was the takeaway lesson from failed innovations? Learning to face our failures and take them as useful lessons allows us to continue drawing outside the lines without losing confidence in ourselves. What is the one thing every 4, 5, 6-year-old does flawlessly, perfectly, and insistently? They ask questions. Everything is a question. What is that? What does that do? What if I press this button? Why is the sky blue? Why are apples crunchy? Why do I have to wear shoes? Not only are children at this age learning and absorbing information, they are figuring out limits and boundaries through their questioning. How many questions can I ask before mama doesn't know the answer? Asking questions opens up new possibilities. When our first attempts at innovation fails, don't keep trying the same thing over and over again. Try something different. Ask as many questions as you can think of, and you will find your ideas becoming less trite and more relevant, less ambiguous and more specific. When you are done, review your questions, watching for where you are testing boundaries and finding or even surpassing what you thought of as limitations. Why didn't my idea take off? What if my innovation is not accepted by everyone? How many different ways can my innovation fail? What is holding me back from taking the next step? One obvious way that children test limits is with their questions. But they're also testing, poking, prodding, and experimenting all the time because that's the nature of being a child. They'll probably make a few mud pies that aren't quite the right consistency before they're satisfied. And so will you, metaphorically, of course. You have already jumped into the deep end of innovating, maybe head first. Sometimes it takes a radical departure from the status quo to discover your true talent as an innovator. But that approach is not without its pitfalls. Confidence is good and necessary, but if you're overly confident, you might end up biting off more than you can chew. Many newly minted innovators act as if they have quick answers or try out any crazy new idea without thinking about the consequences. That's why it's important to take full advantage of the planning stage when trying out a new idea and prototype it. Even if it's not an actual physical product. It's about blending the impulse. Wouldn't it be great at this new way of doing things? Without the forethought. How can I test whether it would actually work? Think big, but start small. With individual pieces of the puzzle and test to see if your idea is even feasible. Prototyping is a crucial step towards any big new product or practice. It's a rare person who gets it right out of the box. It's important to have confidence in your ideas, but it's equally important to be able to identify potential problems before going all out. And that's what prototyping stage is for. Innovation is not for the weak of heart, and not for people who can't take rejection. Failure after failure teaches you a little more about how your ideas could be more effective, more specific, more relevant. But remember, you've already done the hard part. You've grown up, learned about the world, and become a self-sufficient adult. Learning to innovate is really relearning your natural childlike wonder and curiosity about everything. A quick update about the show. The Killer Innovations podcast has been picked up for national syndication as a talk radio show on the BizTalk Radio Network. And last Sunday was its first prototype show. The show is live each Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, and then rebroadcast on the following Saturday at 6 a.m. Eastern, which is 10 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time for our international fans. You can listen to the show at biztalkradio.com, or you can download the BizTalk Radio app for iOS and Android. We'll be working off the rough edges of the show for the next few weeks, and then we will formally launch. The show will be edited and then made available to the podcast listeners. The one difference is that those listening to the show live will be able to participate in the show by commenting and asking questions to the guests and questions to myself. We will also be working hard on a new version of the killerinnovations.com site, so keep an eye open for it. There you will find the entire archive of the podcast, along with seeing who are the upcoming guests, show schedule, and the full show notes. Just to clarify any confusion, any income brought in by the radio show will be used to offset the cost to produce the radio show and the podcast. Anything left over will be donated to charities such as hackingautism.org.